The first time I got a letter from the HOA, I laughed. The second time, I kept it. By the third time, when they called the cops on me for suspicious behavior on my own land, I finally realized something. These people had no idea who I was or what I owned. The call came on a Tuesday morning while I was half asleep, staring at a bowl of cereal. "Is this Marcus Green?" a stiff voice asked. "Yeah, speaking. This is Attorney Lawson. I'm calling about the estate of your late grandfather, Elijah Green. You've inherited land in Fairview County." I didn't think much of it until he added, "You've inherited 1,000 acres, including a residential subdivision called Lakeview Ridge." I remember sitting there frozen, spoon still in my hand. 1,000 acres and a subdivision. My grandfather and I weren't close. He was quiet, private, grew up in a world where a black man kept his head down and trusted almost no one. But that day, he reached out from the grave and dropped a bomb into my life. 2 weeks later, I drove out to Fairview County to see it for myself. Lakeview Ridge looked exactly like those neighborhoods in magazine ads where everything is perfectly beige, perfectly trimmed, perfectly perfect, and every single person walking a dog or watering a lawn looked exactly the same. White, suburban, comfortable. I stepped out of my truck, black, 6'2", hoodie, work boots, and I felt their eyes on me. Not hostile, just suspicious, curious, judging. Who is he? Does he belong here? I met Lawson at the entrance. Later, sitting in his office, he slid the land papers toward me. "Your grandfather never sold the land," he said. "The developers leased it. 40 years. The lease ended 3 months ago." I frowned. "So, who owns the land now?" "You do. And the HOA. They manage the neighborhood. But the dirt under their feet." He tapped the deed. "That's yours." I left the office stunned and completely unaware of the war that was about to start. I decided to stay on the land for a while. Not in their perfect houses, though. I fixed up an old cabin at the back of the property. It was small, crooked, but peaceful. 3 days later, I found an envelope tucked under my wiper. Notice of violation from the Lakeview Ridge HOA. They said my unapproved structure was visible from the walking trail. They didn't even know the cabin was older than their entire NEIGHBORHOD. I ignored it. Mistake. The second notice came hand-delivered by a blonde woman with a tight smile and a clipboard. She stopped at the edge of my steps like she was allergic to fresh air. "Mr. Green?" she asked. "That's me. I'm Karen Mitchell, president of the Lakeview Ridge HOA. Your structure violates our standards." "Good thing I'm not in your HOA," I said. "This cabin sits on my land." She blinked hard. "All of this is Lakeview Ridge." "No," I said calmly. "The part you bought are the houses. The land behind them, including this cabin, is Green Estate land." Her lips trembled just a little. "We've had concerns," she said. "Residents say they feel unsafe. Strange vehicles. Suspicious activity." I pointed at my old truck and the toolbox beside it. "Strange activity. I'm installing insulation, not running a nightclub." Her eyes scanned me up and down. Skin, clothes, beard, everything except the words. I was actually saying, "Property values matter," she added stiffly. There it was, the coded language I'd heard my whole life. I kept my voice steady. "I'm maintaining my property on my land." She dropped the letter on my porch and walked away. A man in a polo shirt followed her, staring at me like I'd broken something he owned. That night, I called Lawson. "This is targeted harassment," he said. "Document everything. Don't react." I did. But the HOA escalated. One night around midnight, red and blue lights flashed across my cabin walls. 2 deputies banged on the door. "Sheriff's Department. Open up." My heart raced. I showed my hands. I stayed calm. "What's going on, officers?" I asked. "We got a call about a trespasser. Possible domestic disturbance." I stared. My cabin was silent. I lived alone. They ran my ID, realized I owned the property, and apologized. But behind them, half hidden by trees, I saw 2 silhouettes. Karen and Mr. Polo Shirt. Watching. I closed the door and leaned against it, shaking with anger. They had crossed the line. I wasn't just dealing with nosy neighbors anymore. This was discrimination, wrapped in polite language and fake concern. And they didn't know I had something powerful in my pocket, the land. The entire HOA sat on my land. Lawson and I drafted letters 2 weeks later, every homeowner got one. I didn't threaten anyone. I didn't scare them. I simply told the truth. The land lease expired. I now own the ground under every house. New agreements were needed, and the HOA would have to adopt anti-discrimination policies if they wanted stability. The meeting at the clubhouse was unforgettable. The room buzzed with whispers as I walked in. That's him. He owns the land. How is that possible? Karen took the mic first. Neighbors, she said. This man is trying to intimidate us. He has caused trouble since arriving. I stepped forward and spoke calmly. I'm not here to intimidate anyone. I'm here because your HOA called the police on me for existing. They targeted me. They judged me. They tried to push me off land my family owned for generations. You could feel the shift in the room. I told them about the new agreement's fair terms, long-term security. No displacement. No fear. Just one condition. The HOA must stop discriminating. Must stop abusing power. Must become transparent. A teenage boy raised his hand. My friend Jamal came to visit. He said, he's black. The HOA kicked him out of the pool. But they didn't do that to my white friends. His mother nodded. They said it was guest policy. It wasn't. Karen's face tightened. This is ridiculous, she snapped. The HOA does not discriminate. An older woman stood. I'll sign with Marcus, she said softly. I've seen how you treat people who don't fit the image. This community needs change. One by one, more people stepped up. The nurse, the mom with the toddler, the quiet couple in the back, dozens. Enough to tip the balance. Karen panicked. This will destroy our community, she cried. No, I said. It will protect people in it. Polo shirt guy stormed out. And that was the moment the entire room understood the truth. They weren't losing control. They were losing the right to control people unfairly. The special election that followed removed the old board. A new, diverse, fair one replaced it. The harassment stopped. The late-night police calls stopped. Kids of all colors played at the park without sideways glances. People waved at me when I walked the trail. Real conversation started. One day at a barbecue, the teenage boy approached me. My friend Jamal wants to visit again, he said. He said this is the first time he's seen a fancy neighborhood get humbled. I laughed. His mom walked up and said, you could have ruined everyone with lawsuits. Instead, you made this place better. Thank you. I looked around, families talking, kids running, music playing, and I felt something settle inside me. For the first time, this place felt like home. My grandfather left me 1,000 acres. But what he really left me was a chance to fix something broken. A chance to stand up without tearing others down. A chance to rewrite the rules. And I took it. Because racism doesn't just live in slurs or violence. Sometimes it hides in rules. In letters. In polite smiles with sharp edges. But when you have the chance to change the story, you take it. I inherited land. And I made sure everyone on it, black, white, new, old, finally belonged.